Hi, this is going to be a little video about how to write tests. I'm in a Vim window here, and as you can see, I guess at the top, you can see the directory that I'm in, and at the bottom, you can see the file name. So anyway, I'm in test subset. And what I need to do is make one of these blocks, one of these test that blocks. And I find the easiest way is to just try running the code and seeing what you get, and then writing a test. So that's what I'm going to do. I just type something which loads up R in this separate little window here. And I just typed something that made that line work. I also need to get the test stat library working. And we don't need that in the tests because when R is running tests, it does that automatically for us. Context just has to do with the error message that gets printed out, so I don't really care about that very much. So the way this works is that this whole block here, and you can see if I move this where the highlighting goes, you can see that there's an execution block. The way test that works is it's got a couple of arguments, and the first is just the name. If there'll be an error in the test, it will tell you that name. And after that is in curly braces is some code to run. And the code that we're running here is we're loading up the data and this is a AI. What does that stand for? I don't know what that stands for. I don't know. I don't have any idea why it's called that. So let's do this. Let's change it to be called let's change it to be called index C for a circle, because I have no idea what I meant by AI. So we're going to be writing new code, and we'll do it for, I don't know, let's do it for the rectangle. Maybe I have to make this just a little bit bigger. Okay, that's good. So we'll do that, and we'll say that we have a rectangle. Let's see, this is going to be sort of long. We're going to need to give 2 values for longitude and 2 values for latitude. We're not going to give a radius, so okay, so now all I have to do is figure out what to put in for that. Oh, and we're going to call it index R for rectangle. Okay, so that's good. This is going to be different here. So all this test is doing is a kind of a consistency test that we have the right dimensionality of the index. That's all I'm doing. And since we're not changing the data index, the index data set, this consistency check will basically prove to us that the code hasn't broken and also that the index hasn't been changed. Now you can say that's bad because if we change the index, we'll break the code, but I think that's a good thing. I think when you make a built-in data set, you should leave it alone so that someone a year from now it would still be the same if they updated their system. So we have to figure out what values to give here. Let's see, I don't actually know the whole domain, so what we're going to do is this. I ran that line of code, and I'm going to do range of index, square bracket, index, square bracket, thingy doodle, longitude. Okay, so that's good. So that's the full range. We'll use something in the middle. So the full range at the left is 78. So let's go 77. And to the right, or I guess that's called east, we'll go 76. Let's just try that. And for latitude, we'll do the same sort of a deal. And so we'll change that to the lower latitude. Let's maybe make it 25. In the upper, that's sort of inside there, and the upper one will make 26. It doesn't matter what we pick. So 26. Okay, so that's fine. Now what I'm going to do is run these. What's wrong with that? Something wrong with that. Don't know. So we'll put it all in one line and run it. No, there's something wrong with that. Oh, notice that I forgot to put a comma here. maybe feel that might be marginally more readable the way it is. So so I made those lines happen. You can see that in the lower box or whatever. Right, so now all we're doing is a consistency check. So let me do an dim of indexer. Right, so we can change that test. We'll do 76. I don't know, we could do some other things. We could do this. I think it's called file name. Maybe we'll figure out the names of what's in there. File. Yeah, so we could put a test for that. Indexer. Oh, we only need a single thing there. And that is AOML. It's the name of a whatever. I don't care what it is. So 49, 00183 profiles D49, 003 and O24.nc. So that's the file name. So that should also work. And it's saying it's mismatched. I typed something wrong. Evidently, what can you see in the bottom where I've typed something wrong? Okay, AM thing. Okay, 49, 00183, same. Profiles is spelled wrong. Profile in courage was the name of a famous thing in history, and this is a profile in idiocy. Okay, so there we go. So I just ran that line, so it works. So that test works. So I'm just going to put a note here. Let's add a test for the polygon method. And have one for the time method. That's about all we need. So that's good. So I guess I could load up, maybe I should, but I'm not going to. I could load up the RStudio and run it, and you'd see this works. A good way of checking it would be to like put in a 1 here, and that should fail. And then when you run RStudio, when you run the tests, you'll see that it failed. Okay, so that's it. That's the end of this little video demonstration of how anyway, I write tests. Basically, I always just run whatever code I want to run, I run it interactively in a console. That's what this bottom part of the window is. Obviously, you could do this in RStudio too. And then in the top part, as I get things working, I put them back. I guess I do write some stuff here and write some stuff here and just copy it back and forth to get it working. It's only a self-consistency check. So it's not like knowing that, I don't know, something that you really know, like the second digit of pi. It's not like that. It's a self-consistency check. However, it's actually quite a good thing, because if we rewrote this code, I hope that the code here is doing like a less than equal for the Western one, and a less than equal for the Eastern one. But suppose we change the code to only be a less than, as opposed to a less than equal. That could give a different result, and that would give a different result here, and that would be a signal to us that we changed the code. Maybe we'd go back and change the code to be the way it was originally, or we'd come back here and say, no, the new code is good, and we're going to change the tests. Okay, so that's it for me. Thanks. Bye.